Anyway, we're gonna get into this. All right, let's get into this. Isaac Butter. It's Ryan Beard versus Isaac Butterfield. Okay, guys, let's get this going.
Hey, it's been a while,
Ryan, you're upside
because
down.
I just recently moved to the Upside Down from Stranger Things, also known as Australia.
All right.
And that is
What? I just muted the video. What?
the joke I will known as Australia.
I don't know how I did that.
And that is the first and last joke I will make about Australia being upside down, because I find those jokes very tiring. I just moved here a few weeks ago, and I'm still trying to acclimate myself to living in a new country by learning the differences between how Americans and Australians speak. Instead of McDonald's, here they call it Macca's. Instead of boxed wine,
It sounds like a racist. it just sounds racist to me. Am I the only one who thought that?
here they call it goon. And to greet someone,
All these sound
instead of
racist to
saying,
me.
"What's up?" here they say, "G'day, cunt." The only thing
Whoa, Ryan! I can't believe you just threw out. I can't believe you're just slurring girls now, dude. What happened to sexist Ryan Beard? What happened, bro? What are you did, dude? You're supposed to be our savior.
that Australians love more than Vegemite on toast is calling other people.
Isn't Vegemite just disgusting? Like, isn't it just like the worst parts of everything? I'm pretty sure that's true. Quote me on that, please.
The C word. In America, some people consider the word cunt to be offensive, but in Australia, it's considered a term of endearment.
Nice.
So if you get offended by
Australia.
me saying cunt, unfortunately, that means that you are Australia-phobic. Anyway, now that I'm a full-blooded
That's like a weird, edgy joke. Like, that's just, I was like surprised about that from Ryan. It's a little jar. I mean, like, you know, whatever, but it's just a little jarring. I just wasn't expecting him to throw. I mean, I've used the word from time to time when I talk about a person that's a real piece of shit, but I didn't expect him. He's acclimating very well to being from Australia.
Aussie, I thought it would be great to make a commentary video on another Australian. And who better than the edgy comedian Isaac Butterfield? In America, we would pronounce his name Isaac, but in Australia, it's pronounced Isaac, like a sack of eyes.
My name's Isaac Butterfield.
So in this video, I will be very careful to pronounce his name correctly to make
Is that actually his name? What does he say?
Isaac Butterfield.
Isaac. I guess he's more like Isaac. Like, I'm Zachary, you know? But okay. You know?
So in this video, I will be very careful to pronounce his name correctly to make sure that I'm not being culturally insensitive. Now, it might be stupid for me to be making a video criticizing Isaac right after moving to this country, because he is one of the most famous comedians in Australia, and I'm sure I'll get some of his fanboys in my comments saying, "Go back to America!"
Well, I'm sure you're looking for... I'm sure, like, I mean, like, I'm not even saying you don't have valid criticisms. I haven't watched the video, obviously, we're doing that now, but you're obviously looking for a response. Like, you're kind of looking, you know, you're looking for a fight. I think we know you're looking for a fight, Mr. Beard. All right? You know that's what you're doing. You know? It's probably, like, it's probably good, because I know you're more of, like, a little, you're more progressive, obviously, and Isaac's more conservative. So, like, it's a good fight. It's like, yeah, I know my audience will like this, and then I could start a dialogue with this guy, and I don't know. That's where we're at. I wonder, I don't know if the outcome is trying to have a conversation. I think the guy has a podcast. You know, maybe that's what it is, or maybe you're just looking for content, which, hey, listen. Hey, sometimes we're just looking for content, you know what I mean? So I get it, but okay.
We don't want any fucking woke soy boys like you in our country. But before you attack me, just remember that America and Australia are allies. Both of our countries are some of the top in the world at treating refugees like shit and slaughtering indigenous people. Now, my personal opinion is that Isaac is a...
Do we treat refugees like shit? I mean, I mean, we probably have pretty inadequate... considering how many people want to come here. Because I don't know if we can... I mean, I guess it depends on what you call a refugee. Because a lot of people who... Like, asylum seekers, we call those refugees? I don't know. I feel like there's a very high... I guess if that's what we're considering them, there's like a high influx of them trying to come here. But I feel like it's a little bit difficult from like an infrastructure perspective to take care of them. But maybe that's not what he was even talking about. Just dunking on the USA, baby. But you know what, dude? We are the best in the world at McDonald's and guns. So, you know, beat that anywhere else. I like this look on his face, by the way.
Transphobic, misogynist, but I don't want this to be my main focus because he clearly gets turned on when people call him these things. Nothing makes edgy comedians jizz in their pants faster than being called a bigot, because it fuels their victim narrative that the woke mob is trying to cancel me, so go subscribe to my shitty podcast, cancel me now.
What the fuck?
Basically, the only comedian who has ever actually been fully canceled is Bill Cosby. Most of these
was he? I don't know.
Comedians who constantly whine about cancel culture have never actually been canceled or deplatformed. They've just pissed some people off on Twitter with their jokes. There is a massive difference between being canceled and some people just not liking your jokes. For these comedians, cancel culture is mostly just used as a marketing tactic to draw more edgy teenagers into their fan base.
Yeah,
the only way that Isaac is being canceled is by his audience slowly losing interest in his content, causing him to get 1/10 of the views that he used to.
Bro, come on, bro. That's a low blow, man. You know the struggle's real. You know the grind is real, dude. You know the struggle is real. I did notice that a little bit, though. Like, I went to look it up, and I was like, oh, he's not getting a lot of views unless he's talking about, like, fat girls or something. Which is, like, you know, it's like a low-hanging fruit, you know, honestly. Like, yeah. I'm just being honest with you. It's like a kind of a low blow, easy. It's like an easy. You could talk shit about black girls. What the fuck am I saying? I'm tired. Give me a break, okay? You could talk shit about fat girls, and it's, like, instant views. You know what I mean? So...
In this video, I'm mainly going to be focusing on how I think Isaac is annoying, he makes bottom-of-the-barrel content, his humor feels like it's stuck in 2016, he contradicts himself constantly, and overall, I just think he's pretty stupid. If Isaac ever responds to this video, I'm sure he'll call me fat, call me a soy boy, and accuse me of trying to cancel him, but I'm not trying to cancel him.
Maybe.
I don't think he's done anything worthy of being deplatformed or anything. I just think he's uneducated, annoying, and hypocritical, so I'm gonna criticize him just like he criticizes other people on his channel in every video.
Okay.
Let me take a second to thank today's sponsor, Atlas VPN.
Whoa. You know what I find interesting? Go, you know, if you want to look at his link, go be my guest, but Ryan Beard has it tagged, and my understanding is I think a lot of new advertisers are like not letting you do that. Like they don't let you tag it. So if people, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do this. We're gonna go right to women's body hair. We're gonna go. That's what the next chapter's called. So we're not.
Amazing deal.
There you go.
All you gotta do
there.
is click the link.
Just type this in: https:// at lasv.pn/Mr. Beard. Link in the description. Incredible. No, that's not a mouthful at all. It's actually. Not a mouthful. I have nothing else to say.
Link in the description below. Thanks again, Atlas VPN. Recently, Isaac pissed off a bunch of people when he posted this on TikTok.
Okay, I'm going to freak everybody out. I'm going to upset some people, and I enjoy doing that. Female body hair is disgusting.
So, you find female body hair disgusting.
I mean, I feel like, like, personally, I kind of, sometimes I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. I'm a little bit of an animal. I'm going to be honest with you. But, like, who really cares if you find female body hair disgusting? Like, it really doesn't matter. I mean, you can keep that thought to yourself. I think that's the bigger issue. Like, Isaac was just, I guess he was bored. And he was like, you know what I want to do? I'm going to fucking piss off some liberals. I'm gonna drink my mug, root beer. And I'm going to piss off some liberals. Right? That's pretty much what it is. And so, like, you're intentionally being antagonistic. There's nothing prompted you to do that. Like, you're like, I want to make a video. I want to be a little bit of a suspicious character from the popular hit video game Us, and that's pretty much it. Oh, fuck me, dude. That's not what I wanted to do. Come on, this game. Oh, come on, bro. I need to do this really quick. Right.
The sight of a woman's body hair triggers a feeling of disgust in you. In other words,
pretty normal,
women's body hair triggers you, which, in my opinion, is a pretty snowflake response to simply seeing hair. Let's talk about the history of women shaving their underarms.
I don't think it triggers him. I guess in the raw sense of the word, I don't know. Okay.
Before 1915, women actually didn't shave their underarms. But in 1915, the razor company Gillette realized that they could sell a lot more razors if they convinced women that it was feminine to shave their underarms. The only reason that you find women's underarm hair to be disgusting is because you happen to be born after 1915. If you were...
I mean, it's still a beauty standard. Let's see. I feel like... I feel like I heard in like Egypt, they started doing that. Maybe I'm just wrong, and this is like a whole conspiracy. Why did I think I really wonder. Ancient Egyptians loved hair removal, and we still use their methods today. Yeah, like I had thought that like there was hair removal in like Egypt. Maybe this is like, I don't know if this is like a valid website, but I feel like I've heard that before. Like the Egyptians were very ahead of their time when it came to a lot of just their everything. So I feel like my whole point is I feel like this isn't something that was very unique to like America. I feel like this is something that's been observed across multiple like societies. It's just not super normal, I guess. But
born before 1915, you wouldn't find it disgusting. But because you happen to be born...
Hey, listen. I just want you to understand something. Back in 1915, we were also racist, okay? So there is a direct correlation between the widespread popularity of female underarm shaving and becoming less bigoted. So if you really think about it, shaving your underarms is it's like basically, you know, it's very woke. It's very progressive. You know, it's anti-racist. Shaving your underarm hair is anti-racist. I stand by that. Okay, that's an objective truth now because I said so.
In 1993, you do find it disgusting. This stereotype that women need to shave their underarms isn't based in any sort of logic. It's just a stereotype that has been pushed by razor companies for the last 100 years.
I don't think it necessarily matters, though. Like, for instance, bald men. Like, men that are bald are generally perceived as less attractive. However, bald men who keep their head shaved bald, like, all the way, like, you know, they're perceived as more attractive. Now, there's literally no reason for any of this. It's a complete, like, a social construct whatsoever, like, in general. But, like, it's just kind of the facts of it. And I feel like it doesn't matter. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think women should have to shave if they don't want to. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it's super crazy that, you know, like, some people find it gross. Like, it's a normal thing. Women find it gross, too. Like, it's not just, like, an exclusive thing to men. You know, again, I don't think the issue is I don't think the issue is Isaac's thought. I think the issue is that he was saying it to drum up some kind of controversy, which he's going to do with Ryan, which is probably a good thing for his career. So,
I find it confusing.
My back wax? Fuck you, okay?
Using that dudes like this think they're being brave by stating an opinion that's already the social norm.
That's true. How brave? Girls that don't shave are gross. Oh my god, I've never heard that before. You're so brave. It's so funny because I watched like a minute of this video beforehand, and I'm like tired as fuck. So I've been planning on coming on and being like, "Oh my god, so brave!" when I heard him say that, and I just forgot because I'm just so like burnt out.
Yeah, most people find women's body hair disgusting because we've all been manipulated by razor companies into thinking it's disgusting. These companies need us to think it's disgusting so they can keep selling razors. You're not brave for sharing this opinion. You're just being a shill for Gillette. So I hope you got a nice fat paycheck from Gary Coombe.
I think he has a Manscaped one. Gary Coombe. Whoa, that's a cool name. I feel bad. Why'd your parents keep that name? Gary Coombe. Wow, it's incredible.
The CEO of Gillette after sucking his dick so hard.
Gillette.
Now, I do not personally believe in attacking other people for their personal preferences. If you don't find body hair attractive on women, men, or anyone else, I'm not going to try to force you to change your personal preference, but when you call someone else's body disgusting because it doesn't fit your personal preference, that's called being an asshole. And Isaac is well aware that he's being an asshole. On his YouTube channel, he claims that this was all a social experiment.
I wanted to conduct a little social experiment the other day.
I think Glenn Cameron said that too when he said he was talking to minors. Just wanted to get the Glenn Cameron plug in there since he's a scumbag. Well, I guess it would be considered a social experiment. He just wanted to see something like divisive to drum up some controversy is all he wanted. You know what's weird though is like I can't get verified on TikTok, but Isaac is. I mean, like whatever. I'm not saying that he shouldn't be, but come on, like what the fuck? What's the standard, dude? What the fuck is the standard? Get my verification back, you bitch. Somebody get me unbanned on TikTok. I'm ready. Unban me, but take all my old videos down. I don't want them up. I want all my videos down. I want all my old videos down. Okay. And then unban me. That's exactly how I'd like it.
Day. I wanted to see if I could piss off an entire group of people, so I went to TikTok.
Wow, what an incredible experiment. When you tell people that their bodies are disgusting, they get angry.
Gross.
I would have never predicted that outcome. And Isaac is a massive hypocrite because he'll regularly criticize LGBT people for being too much of an asshole, but then he finds pride in the fact that he's an asshole.
Does he say that?
These are not my preferred pronouns. These are my pronouns. You will use them, or you will not refer to me. At all.
Okay, I will use one if they ask nicely, but stop being the personification of an asshole.
I'm going to upset some people, and I enjoy doing that.
No one wants to hear what you have to say or what you want people to call you if you're being mean. I wanted to see if I could piss off an entire group of people.
So if LGBT people want Isaac to
What do they call that? Tone policing? When you like tell people like it's like a tone policing thing. Is that what it's called? I don't know. I mean, it is. You're tone policing. You're saying I'm not going to respect your pronouns unless you're nice. I mean, like personally, I just wouldn't talk to that person because they're being meanie. But like whatever.
use their correct pronouns, they have to make sure to be extra polite and ask him nicely. But when Isaac chooses to purposefully be rude and piss off entire groups of people, that's perfectly fine. My guess is that the views were probably getting low on his...
Well, you gotta understand, Ryan, is that, like, he's a white dude, okay? Straight white cisgender men feel entitled to everybody and everything. They're pieces of shit, and they need to die. We need to kill all straight white men tomorrow. Today. Right freaking now. I'm tired of straight white cisgender men.
His YouTube channel, so he decided to hop on over to TikTok and piss off a bunch of women.
Someone said, dude, some of your TikToks pissed me off a couple times. Which TikTok pissed you off, I wonder? I'm, like, genuinely curious. Like, which one was the one that, like, kind of bothered you? I'm really curious.
So he could farm their outrage to create content. When someone has to resort to this type of rage baiting in order to get content, that's usually not a good sign for how well their career is going. Isaac would probably respond to me by saying, "Aw, chill out, mate. It's just a joke." Jokes like this, where the intention is just to piss women off, are the exact same type of humor as when boys in middle school run up to girls on the playground and pull their hair to get a reaction out of them.
Funny stuff.
It's basically the most immature...
It's pretty funny. You know what would be... You know what I thought when I was in middle school, though? Not just... I don't want to run up and pull girls' hairs. What I wanted to do... And this is not something I would do anymore, obviously. But what I wanted to do is I was like, imagine a world. Imagine you could freeze time and you could touch girls' boobies. That's what I used to think when I was younger. Because, like, who hasn't thought about that? You know what I mean? Like, time-stopping powers to touch girls' boobies. That's it. That's it. That's the whole thought.
Type of humor, but I shouldn't be surprised that someone with the signature catchphrase, "me dick stinks," has an immature sense of humor. The thing that annoys me about comedians like Isaac, who walk that line between being a comedian and being a political commentator, is that they are clearly trying to push a political narrative in their videos, but if anyone ever criticizes them for how dumb their opinions are, they always fall back on saying, "Oh, it was just a joke. These are all jokes." Even if he is joking, he is still promoting ideas in his video.
Why are you so triggered, liberal? This was not the map I should have done this on. I wanted to do like in this video, I wanted to go like see how far I'm gonna still do it.
Videos that can be criticized. I am also a comedian who both makes jokes and shares my political opinions, but I try to make it very clear when I am joking, and I would never respond to someone who criticizes my opinions by saying I was just joking. Comedians should be able to stand behind the political.
Well, I mean, generally speaking, like a lot, usually you'll use a joke to like reinforce a point. Like it's not like jokes are these like random fucking one-offs. Like I usually use it for a particular reason to like reinforce a point in a comedic way because it's easier to communicate that point to people.
Political messages they promote without needing to always hide behind the cop-out of, "I was just joking." After receiving a ton of backlash, Isaac posted a response video on YouTube, which, in my opinion, was some pussy shit.
I'm not talking about, like, you know, a couple of days of growth of hair. Who gives a shit, right? Everyone's got hair. I'm talking about the chicks that have the big hairy bushes and think they're changing the world. They're the chicks I'm talking about. The ones that think they're defeating the patriarchy by growing fucking moss under their arms. No one gives a shit, love. You're not achieving shit.
Isaac will regularly...
it does seem like you do give a shit. Seems like you've devoted a bit of time to the thought of that topic. Okay.
Make very inflammatory statements.
Female body hair is disgusting.
But then once he gets backlash, he'll walk the statement back to make himself seem more reasonable. I wasn't saying that all women's body hair is disgusting, just when women grow too much of it, or when they think that growing it destroys the patriarchy. Isaac, why do you feel the need to backpedal like this? You clearly think that women's body hair is disgusting, so don't be a pussy. Own that shit. If you're a true free speech warrior, then why are you bowing down to these crazy feminists?
True.
Say it proudly.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Ryan. You're speaking my language right now, dude.
I think women's body hair is disgusting, and I think Gary Coombs' semen tastes like pineapple. Other than his rage-baiting content...
You missed the whole joke to be able to say Gary Coombs Coomb. What are you talking about?
Isaac also posts a lot of videos that rely on dishonest clickbait in order to get views. Like this video where he claims in the title that a woman was killed in a Nikocado avocado video, but when you actually watch the video, there is no evidence that any woman was actually killed. Or this...
Does he touch on it? You know, does he touch on the suggestion that a woman was killed? Goodbye, that vegan teacher. Wow.
Video that implies that that vegan teacher has died, but the video is actually
really
just
dead?
about Isaac saying that he doesn't want to talk about her anymore. Everyone on YouTube...
I made a video like that. I was like, I don't want to talk about her anymore. That was it. That was the whole video. Oh, I need to get this stupid fucking monkey just to play this. Yeah, she's boring, dude. Every time that there's that vegan teacher, she does the same thing. She finds somebody that she doesn't like, and then she will like she'll just say like, oh, they're not or she's not something. She'll find a big target, and then she'll watch like a minute of their video and say, oh, are these vegan stuff? Did you do vegan things? Is this vegan? Is this vegan? Is this vegan? And then that's the whole time. And then she just like sings a song. It's the whole fucking thing. It's boring.
YouTube has to engage in some level of clickbait in order to get views, but it is not okay to be intentionally dishonest in your titles and thumbnails, especially if you're making false claims that people have died. Next, let's look at his recent video, 10 Reasons Woke Women Hate Men. This video is the type of video that would have probably gotten Isaac over 1 million views back in 2016, but thankfully it seems like a lot of the internet has moved on from watching these types of fear-mongering videos about woke women. This video...
I don't know if are they fear-mongering? Would I consider it that? Maybe. I think it's more just about like shitting on like his silly sussy bakas, you know what I mean? Like stupid... I think that trend is coming back though, of like kind of like reacting to like liberal cringe, you know, which can be funny, dude, because liberals are cringe, right? Like freak liberals, bro. All I really need is my mug of root beer and fuck a liberal. But I think those videos are on the rise again.
Video is filled with exaggerated stereotypes and outright lies about feminists.
Number 10, toxic masculinity. If there has been a buzzword over the past 5 years or so, toxic masculinity has to be up there with some of the greats. By definition, it is a set of attitudes and ways of behaving stereotypically associated with or expected of men, regarded as having a negative impact on men and society as a whole. So it's basically what...
Yeah, it sounds like the negative parts of like masculinity, I guess you'd say. Like exaggerated toxic forms of masculinity. Like it's not a hot take, you know.
Whatever men do, that is toxic masculinity. Anything that's bad that a man does is toxic masculinity. Anything bad that a female does is not toxic femininity. It is brave, powerful, wonderful, and fantastic. Yay.
When have feminists ever claimed that women can't be toxic? No feminist.
Oh, you get your like, what do you like? There's like some like insane feminists that like will say pretty much everything a man does is bad, and then they'll exhibit like toxic qualities. I don't know if they call it toxic femininity. I'm sure there is like a thing called toxic femininity, sussy baka femininity, but yeah.
On the entire planet believes that female empowerment means that women can just be as toxic as they want to be and go around committing whatever crimes they want to with...
I mean, I don't think about crimes, but like, yeah, man, there's women, and it's not like all of them. It's not all of them at all, but there's women that, or like fucking, I guess you'd say feminists, like toxic feminists that think like they're just shitty. Like that's pretty much it. There's nothing else to really say. Those people do exist, yeah. And it's like they perpetuate like anti-male rhetoric, like the whole kill all men thing. Like that's effectively, I guess you'd call that toxic femininity. I guess I'd call that toxic femininity. But you get my point. Sometimes like it's just about being hateful by using a social narrative to justify it. And then what you really end up doing is you end up like hurting progress, right? So like if you weaponize a social narrative, like, hey, needs to be more equality with women, which is a good narrative, and you take that and use it to like propagate hate against men, you're just driving up the hatred towards women from men because there's going to be like a retaliation. like you could look at like Drew Afuelo or whatever the fuck her last name is. I really just don't know how to say it. She kind of does that. Some of the things that she calls out are good. Like, I'm not saying everything, but like when she calls out like dudes that are just making jokes about how like they want to sign their girlfriend up for the draft because they want to fight a lot, like you're just going to, people are gonna be like, what is this? Like, this is stupid.
Without being held responsible. That is obviously fucking stupid.
On social media, everything that dudes do is being toxic masculinity. When Will Smith the other week slapped Chris Rock because Will Smith is a big old pussy, that was not to, you can't blame Will Smith for that. You blame toxic masculinity.
Well, nobody blamed toxic. Okay, so nobody removed accountability from Will Smith for doing that. If anything, people were trying to say that like people were being racist for calling him out because, you know, there's like issues with hair and whatnot. But like, yeah, you would consider that a form of toxic masculinity because it's this idea of like overprotection. Like the man has to like act like a machismo person or else his entire masculinity is questioned. Like, yeah, I would consider that toxic masculinity. It's still Will's fault for doing it. Maybe Jada's too because she's a scumbag. But like would still be considered a form of toxic masculinity. Why would that not be a thing? You know?
Huh? No one is blaming toxic masculinity. They're blaming Will Smith for exhibiting toxic masculinity. Just like if someone commits murder,
that would be the same thing to him. But
yeah. We don't blame murder. We blame the person for committing murder. What the?
That's not like exactly directly analogous. Like murder is an action, just like the slap was an action. So you wouldn't really say it like that. You would probably say if somebody, I mean, you could bring like systemic racism or something. Like, oh, if somebody stole something, if like a black person stole something because they didn't have like opportunities, that's systemic racism. But we don't blame systemic racism. We understand that it's a factor, but we blame the person for having the individual whatever. Sorry for bringing it to black people. It's just like the first thing that popped in my head. But like, yeah, I get what you're saying, but no.
The fuck are you talking about?
There are examples of things that you could put under the label of toxic masculinity. The whole idea that men can't have emotions, men can't cry, men shouldn't look after the kids. That's the woman's job. That's bullshit. That's garbage. It's toxic. Maybe we shouldn't blame all men for this. Maybe we should blame the rotten eggs that are the ones that are living their lives like this.
No one is blaming all men. If you actually read the definition that you showed on screen, you would see that toxic masculinity is a set of stereotypes typically associated with the toxic elements of masculinity. When one man tells another man that they shouldn't show emotions, which you agree is toxic, that man...
Well, I mean, I think you should show emotions in like the right timing, you know what I mean? Like if you know, usually I would generally say like when it's appropriate. Like if somebody dies, obviously show your emotion, but for the most part, try to keep it to like your close, like I guess friends and family, I guess you'd say. That kind of a thing. You know, you don't need to be crying all over social media. That's all I'm saying. But I think that's true about everybody, to be honest with you.
Man is exhibiting toxic masculinity in that moment. But this does not mean that all men exhibit toxic masculinity at all times or that all men are toxic. I can't tell if you're being purposefully
all men are gay,
dishonest, or you genuinely don't understand toxic masculinity.
Many people will have you believe that if you are a man in this world, then you are to be blamed for everything bad that men do. If a woman is attacked in the middle of the street, that is your fault, that is my fault, it is men's fault. Not the fault of the psycho who is attacking this woman. Domestic violence? Don't blame the perpetrator, blame men.
No one is making...
I've never really heard that. Some people do think that, but that's like a very much an outlier.
Making the argument that individuals are responsible for the crimes other individuals commit. That would obviously be stupid. If a man assaults a woman, all men aren't responsible for that assault. Obviously. However, examples of toxic masculinity are how assaults will often get swept under the rug because men don't want to hold other men accountable for their crimes, or how judges will often...
Is that toxic masculinity? I mean, that's shitty men, obviously, but I just don't know if I don't know. Okay.
Say, boys will be boys. We don't want to ruin this promising young man's future, and then not send men to prison for their assaults.
Yeah, like Rock Turner. He raped the girl behind a dumpster, and he got away with it because they didn't want to ruin his swimming career or some shit. Like, fucking dumb. It's crazy. Like, he legitimately raped a drunk girl behind the dumpster. I mean, it's because they didn't want to ruin his career. It's fucking crazy. That wasn't that long ago. I think it's 2014. I don't really remember the exact time. So...
Analyzing toxic masculinity is analyzing social trends. It is not saying that all men are responsible for all the crimes men commit.
Number 9, slut shaming. What does slut shaming mean? It is the action or fact of stigmatizing a woman for engaging in behavior judged to be promiscuous or sexually provocative.
What I would say is, well, I would honestly, like, if you want to get a good example of what slut shaming is, I would go watch like the entire Pam and Tommy series on Hulu. Because, like, it's actually really good. There's, like, a moment where her nudes or whatever are leaked, and their defense is, like, well... Or the sex tape is leaked, and their defense is basically, like, well, you did model for Playboy, so, like, it's okay if you have that boundary violated. Like, that's slut-shaming. You know, you could look at somebody who does OnlyFans and be like, oh, you know, you could... Well, if you want to look it down on them, that's fine, I guess. You know, it's whatever. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a fucking job, but... you know, you don't have to think that the person is like worthless just because they do OnlyFans. That's pretty much, you don't have to date them, but to just sit there and be like, oh, you're a terrible, worthless person because you do like OnlyFans, like that's slut shaming to like the maximum, you know. But sometimes his job's a job, bro, and you just got to pay the fucking bills. Sometimes it do be like that, you know what I'm saying?
I think the reason that society looks down on women who have slept with a lot of people or are easy in this situation is because it's so simple for them to get sex. For a man to get a lot of sex, he's got to be funny, intelligent, he's got to be all these things, he's got to be muscular, he's got to be good looking. For a lady to get sex, all she has to...
I mean, I just disagree. I was able to slang, bro. But okay.
Do is just slightly open a fucking leg.
I have never understood this argument. So. What you're saying is that it's easy for women to get sex because men usually want sex.
Yeah, I mean, like, it is easier for a woman to have sex, like, to get sex, rather, for the most part. It's much easier. Like, men tend to be very sex-driven when it comes to, like, casual engagements, right? So, you know, a woman can very easily get, like, sex. Like, that's the truth.
And it's not easy for men to get sex because women usually don't want sex.
Yeah, that's, like, the basics of it. Women do... actually really enjoy sex, but I think that they place a lot of value on like intimacy more than men do, and so it makes it it makes it a little bit different. But like, yeah, kind of. Women are still very horny, probably like comparably horny to men, but again, like there's like a level of intimacy that women tend to want. Not all women want it, but women tend to want. That's just like an observed trend.
So, if men are the ones who usually want sex, then what you're saying is, by default, men are sluts. And if women usually don't want sex, then by default, women aren't sluts.
I mean, like, yeah, sure, if men... I guess. I think that, like... this is where I would come from more than anything else, I guess my argument is, like, okay... So, like, if you think a girl that has a lot of sex is a slut, do you think a guy who has a lot of sex is a slut? Like, well, no. Well, why not? I think that fundamentally, like, just having a lot of sex, or not even a lot of sex, like, with a bunch of different people, that just makes you slutty, regardless of whether you're a boy or a girl. The difficulty in which it happens, I think, is, like, irrelevant to me. Like, that doesn't really matter. You know, it's just, like, the actual act of it happening, you know? You're being a freaking slut, bro. You're being a dirty slut, but... Okay.
But you're saying it makes sense to shame a woman when she decides to want sex as much as men want sex? So if we should shame women for wanting sex as much as men do, then why aren't we also shaming the men for wanting sex?
Well, if anything, now that we think about it, this is a little too far away and it's upsetting. If you really think about it, it doesn't really make sense to... If men want to have sex with women... Doesn't it make sense to not shame women for being horny or whatever? Because then women would be more likely to have sex. Boom. I solved the problem. Slut shaming is making it more difficult for you to get pussy. That's a you fucking problem, bro. You gotta stop doing that shit.
You're a massive slut because you want sex as much as men do.
I'm smart as fuck, dude. I'm the smartest person in the whole fucking world. I should have moved this Mr. Beard in a better spot.
And that is not okay. How does that make any logical fucking sense? In reality, some people like to have a lot of sex, and some people like to have not very much sex. Both are perfectly fine.
Well, I think, again, like, just to clarify, I don't think it's the amount of sex. I think it's like the amount of people you have sex with, which is the primary concern.
And you should just stay the fuck out of everyone else's business.
Woke women believe that all men are dangerous. I've already touched on this already in this video, but I feel it is important to really highlight it. A generation of young women between the ages of 14 to 30, maybe even a little bit older, are learning that not only are men dangerous, that they should be scared of them at all times and avoid them at all costs.
The vast majority...
I mean, like, in all honesty, like, I'm just gonna fucking hot take it. I feel like men... I think a lot of men teach that. I don't think that's a new thing. I think that, like bro, okay, so I'm trying to like articulate this well because he's saying that women are being taught that like all men are dangerous. I think we've been doing that for a long time. I think a lot of men, especially like fathers, especially will teach their daughters that like all men can be very dangerous and you need to watch your shit. I don't think that's a new concept, and I'm gonna teach my daughter that. Because, like, it just takes once. Like, I'm going to teach my daughter when they go to a party, always go with friends, never walk home alone. You call me anytime you need to. Even if you are under the age of like, 21 and you get drunk or you do an illicit drug, I'm going to teach my kid that, like, you can still call me. Like, I'm not going to fucking beat the shit out of you. I'm going to be disappointed, but, like, call me because I'd rather you do that than, like, wander your way home. You know what I'm saying? Like, we teach, like, yeah, like, don't, like, make sure you go out with your friends. Make sure, like, if you're going out at night, you're with friends. Don't walk home alone. Don't, like, meet up with, like, random guys. Like, we've been kind of teaching this for a long time. I feel like we've always kind of taught, like, a lot of times we teach women, especially young girls, like, to be very skeptical of men because they can be very gross very quickly. I don't think that's a new thing. Okay.
Of women don't actually believe that all men are dangerous. When they say this, they are exaggerating. However, the reason they say this is because of statistics. Around 90% of homicides are committed by men.
Nice.
Men make up...
Well, men also are the ones that are getting homicided.
90% of prison populations. 90% of rapists are men. And 1 in 6 women will be the victim of an attempted or completed rape in their life.
Wow.
Lifetime. Based on these statistics, I don't think it's unreasonable for women to be cautious around men. I am personally against using generalizations of any kind, so I would never personally say that all men are dangerous, but when women say this...
You have the same rules for your sons and daughters? I probably will have similar rules, but I'm going to probably teach the rules a little differently to my son versus my daughter. I mean, realistically, like personally, I'm just gonna, I'm probably gonna be less nervous about what my son's doing versus what my daughter's doing. But you know, I get what you're saying.
It is a hyperbolic
But also be wary of gross men. Yeah, that's what you be afraid. Be weary of gross men.
That comes from a place of frustration with how men have treated them.
Anything that is going wrong in their life, their personal life, their work lives, can be and should be blamed on men. What a fucking cop-out. Blaming everything on the patriarchy is a weak way to live your life, and you will not be successful carrying on like that.
No one is saying that every single problem women face comes from the patriarchy. There are all sorts of systems that can harm women. Racism, classism, ableism, etc. All that we're talking about when we mentioned the patriarchy is that historically, men have held more positions of power than women, and they have used this power to restrict women's rights and not hold men accountable when they hurt women.
Good. Fuck women in the butt, bitch. Fuck women, bro.
But is the patriarchy the cause of every single one of women's problems? Of course not.
Number 5, and this is a great one and a great reason to hate men, male feminists. The wolf in...
True, honestly. I mean, like, I'm not even going to disagree with here. I've observed so many... I know Ryan's going to be upset with this because... Not with my take. He's probably going to be fine with one, but, like, with Isaac's take. Because Ryan considers himself a male feminist. And in his defense, like, he's a good guy. Like, he's not like, going to fucking take advantage of that position. I don't think that at all. But in my experience, male feminists are always taking advantage of their situation to like prey on women. We had that guy, Modern Warrior is one of them, Joe Robe, or prey on somebody, but Modern Warrior, Joe Robe, this turtleneck emo guy. I know Calvin Brandy. A lot of these guys you probably have no idea who I'm talking about. Well, because they've all been canceled to an extent for inappropriate behavior. Except the turtleneck emo guy got like probably a disproportionate amount of shit. But anyway. The point is, the point I'm making here is like, yeah, man, like a lot of times it seems like there's a lot of men, a lot of gross men who use that position that they get in with women to try to get pussy. Like they do it to get pussy. They're like, oh, this is gonna get me so much fucking pussy, bro. Like that's how, like, honestly.
Sheep's clothing. Basically, what a male feminist is a predator hiding in camouflage, looking to pounce. The only reason male feminists exist is to fuck chicks. This is it. The only reason. If you know a guy who says he's a male feminist, he's trying to fuck you.
This is what pisses me off the most about Isaac Butterfield. The way he contradicts himself without even realizing it. He has just ranted for 8 minutes about how we shouldn't generalize all men, but now he's generalizing that all male feminists are predators.
The only reason. If you know a guy who says he's a male feminist, he's trying to fuck you.
Do you not see the hypocrisy of generalizing an entire group of people directly after criticizing women for generalizing an entire group of people? Now, I agree that...
Well, I mean, he generalized all feminists, so I don't think he's being... like, he instantly generalized all female feminists as being, like, losers. And then all male feminists as being losers. And then, yeah, while saying, I guess, men are the victim. But again, I'm biased, bro. I think male feminists, especially ones who like announce themselves as ones like, I don't know, they're sussy. Like, I'm all for women's rights, but I wouldn't consider myself a feminist. Maybe I just don't consider myself a male feminist because like I would never want to be associated with people who traditionally are male feminists that do it for pussy. But you know.
A disturbing number of men who claim to be feminists turn out to be predators. But saying that all male feminists are
you know it. He Joe-robed it. He showed Joe robe.
Predators is exactly like saying that all men are dangerous. This just shows me that you're not actually against people making...
I'm dangerous. Women like danger. That's why my middle name is Danger. Daniel Danger. Did you really think I was going to tell you my name? Papa Danger Gut. PDP. Wow, that sounds bad. PDP. 445. Sorry, gross.
Generalizations, you're just against women doing it. A male feminist is just any man who believes that men and women should be equal. But I know that Isaac's response to this would be, maybe that's what feminism was about back before women had the right to vote, but modern feminism isn't about gender equality. You are wrong. Modern feminism is still about gender equality. What you do for a living is you go on TikTok and find the most extreme...
It seems like that. So like I don't know what actual feminist spheres are doing. To be honest with you, I have no fucking clue. So I guess I can't really say too much. I don't know what the actual feminist spheres are doing or saying. But like, yeah, it does feel like some modern aspects of or feminism. It seems like they're a little toxic. Maybe that's more of like performative feminism. I guess you would say it's like more of like performative new age feminism. Does that make sense? Where like you're online saying you're a feminist, but you're just driving male hate. And that's what we're exposed to more than anything else. We're not exposed to like actual feminist causes. So maybe that's what it is.
Feminists you can find, and you use them to paint a narrative that modern feminists are insane. What you are doing is pushing a dishonest agenda.
I don't think modern feminists are insane. Women are just crazy. Am I right, guys? Am I right, fellas?
It is not based in reality. I am very left-wing and what you would probably consider woke, but I am nothing like the extreme straw man that you have created of what woke feminists are like. And I am willing to bet that the vast, vast majority of feminists...
Are you asking what this is here? This is a money count. I can't go over this amount of money or like I lose the game. That's what this is.
...would agree with everything I have said.
It's like a custom thing for like a challenge, so...
Finally, let's look at a few more examples of Isaac blatantly contradicting himself. Isaac has a long-running beef with the leftist streamer Vosh that started because...
I believe it's called Vaush. Okay, that's how I think it's supposed to be Vaush, all right?
Vosh made a joke that Isaac is a child groomer.
Tick-tock. All right, can we just agree that anyone who talks like this is probably a groomer? This groomer, I'm fair saying it, yeah. This guy probably like fucks kids.
Isaac was...
I mean, like, not for nothing, but that's like a totally acceptable reason to be offended. Like, listen, you can say whatever you want about Isaac, but I imagine he identifies like as a male. That's like his that's what his moral center would be. It's like, that's my moral center too. I'm just not like a high value fucking bullshit manosphere male. But like to like a man, that's an act of violence. I just want you guys to understand, like somebody like Isaac, I would guarantee would kill a child predator. And like these hips don't lie. And so like when you call him a predator, like yeah, he's gonna get irritated, like totally reasonably. I think that's gross. I don't know if Vosh was like doing that to be like hyperbolic for attention or something. I think it's disgusting though. Like to do shit like that. It's like pathetic, especially since like some of the weird shit he said about kids. Like there's more evidence to suggest that he's a fucking that he would be a groomer. I'm not saying that he is. I think that he's a fucking hot take machine that grew up in a rich area and has no idea what the fuck anything means. He's also a sex pest. Like, he's not a good person. He's a shitty person. He's not bad at debating. Good for him. But, like, he's a shitty person. And, like, on a personal level, don't like him. But, like, yeah, that goes over the line. I don't know. Hopefully you don't defend that. Like, that's gross. That's some gross shit.
Was not very happy about this.
To go out there and call someone the worst thing
Why would you be okay with that? Why wouldn't you be upset about that? I don't understand.
in the world, a pedophile or a child groomer,
Yeah.
is fucking outrageous, cunt. Are you serious? It is profoundly rude and unjust. Absolutely zero evidence. Fuck this cunt to the moon. Fuck you to the moon, Vosh. I have no more time for you.
Now, I completely agree that it was incredibly stupid for Vosh to joke that Isaac is a child groomer. I don't think you should.
Doesn't really sound like a joke, to be honest with you. I also feel like the subtext of the way that you're saying it was a joke is like trying to like justify it, but maybe I'm reading too much into it. But it sounded like he was kind of serious. Yeah, I could see why the guy's pissed. I just feel like it's totally reasonable.
Should ever make jokes about serious accusations like this. However, I find it extremely hypocritical that Isaac acted all offended about being called a predator, but later he accused all male feminists of being predators.
What a male feminist
I guess so.
is a predator.
I think the difference is that like you even acknowledge that like a lot of male feminists like what will abuse that position to have sex with women or to try to get I guess extort sex from women. So there's more evidence to what he's saying about male feminists than Vosh is saying about him being a groomer. So I don't think it's like a level of hypocrisy. I think you're being like, I think that this argument's like too in defense of like Vosh, especially with his fucking like really dog shit like history. I'm a little surprised because it comes off as like an in defense of Vosh here, which I think is kind of shitty, especially since you know like the sex pest shit because we talked about it privately. But okay.
Hiding in camouflage, looking to pounce.
If it's okay for you to call all male feminists predators, then it's also okay for Vosh to call you a predator. After this, there was a controversy where Vosh got into an argument on Twitter with J.K. Rowling, where Vosh made a misogynistic joke in response
Women be quieter and start apologizing challenge. True.
to J.K. being transphobic. Isaac made a video commenting on the situation, and I also found many of his responses to this extremely hypocritical. First, he says that he respects J.K. Rowling for speaking out about her beliefs.
J.K. Rowling, whether you agree or disagree with her, she has the balls, the fanny flaps, to go out there and talk about what she genuinely believes, and you have to respect that, whether you believe it or not.
I felt the same way about Hitler, to be honest with you. Like, that guy had some fucking balls, if you think about it. Listen, I don't know too much about J.K. Rowling. I know that she's a little sussy when it comes to trans women. I'm not, like, super, like, understanding of the specifics, so I'm not gonna, like, weigh in too much, but...
Not, whether you agree with her or not. If she goes out there and talks about what she genuinely believes, that's some good shit.
So, even if people disagree with J.K. Rowling, they need to respect her because she spoke out about what she believes. However, this goes completely against how he acts towards other feminists. When feminists say that they hate men, he doesn't call them brave, he calls them insane woke idiots. But when J.K. Rowling says something transphobic, all of a sudden, she's brave. When you call one feminist a
I guess he would probably, maybe I'm being too charitable, but I think his argument would be like what she said doesn't align with the status quo, and like generally speaking in online like spaces, like it's okay to say you hate men. It's but like in online spaces, like it's not okay to be transphobic. So he's saying that she's brave for speaking her mind. You know what I mean? So I think that's where it's coming from.
a woke idiot for saying they hate men, but you call another feminist brave for saying something transphobic, it seems like you only think feminists are brave when they say things that are in line with your transphobic beliefs. My perspective is, I don't respect people just because they speak their mind. I would never tell a Nazi, you know, I disagree with your genocidal beliefs, but I respect you.
But can you not see his point? Yeah, that's a good dad joke. Wow, this isn't... Okay, can I get this in line? Motherfucker, you piece of shit. God damn it. How the fuck... Oh, wait. Okay, sorry. I was getting irritated.
For speaking your truth. I am 100% pro freedom of speech because I don't think the government should ever infringe on people's right to speak their mind.
Yeah,
but I
sure.
also think that people with shitty opinions should shut the fuck up. Next, Isaac acts offended by Vosh's misogynistic joke, which makes no sense because Isaac makes misogynistic jokes constantly.
But that last bit, Vosh, What the fuck is that? I hope you don't have a missus, because that would be fucking the worst relationship of all time. If
yeah, that's a little weird. It is a joke. I mean, you could tell it's a joke. Like if you want, I mean, like I don't know. I guess your best argument against that would be like, oh, well, it's like morally disaligned with you being a male feminist or whatever, and a predator. I'm just kidding. But you being a male feminist. But it's pretty clear he's joking. Like it's kind of feels like a virtue signal here. Yeah.
you're saying shit like that.
Just earlier in this video, he joked that the BBC Women's Hour would be the perfect time to take a nap.
Annalise Dodds said on the BBC's Women's Hour, good time to have a nap, radio program.
So, really I guess, according to him, misogynistic jokes in response to J.K. Rowling are just too far, but he should be able to make misogynistic jokes.
So if I go over this, will I lose? Do we risk it? Do I risk losing by going over this number, this counter?
Whenever he wants to. Isaac will regularly criticize feminist comedians, saying that he thinks their jokes are unfunny because all they do is shit on men, but then he turns around and makes the exact same type of lazy, unfunny jokes shitting on women. My final judgment of Isaac is that he's a provocative asshole with no moral consistency who picks and chooses when to make generalizations and when to act offended based on whether or not he likes the group of people that he's talking about. If Isaac makes a response to this video, I'm sure he'll make some joke like, "Fuck you, you woke soy boy. I can tell that you've been drinking too much soy milk because you're growing your own milkers. You better be careful. If those milkers grow too big, you might turn into a woman." Which I would fully support because I am not transphobic. In my opinion, all of this edgy anti-SJW humor has gotten incredibly stale, predictable, and boring at this point. Maybe Isaac—
Don't worry guys, I'll bring it back and I'll make it funny.
—will eventually mature out of this phase, but I kinda doubt it when his catchphrase is, "me dick stinks," and he still calls people soy boys in 2022. Hopefully, someday Isaac will stop attacking random trans teenagers on TikTok, stop antagonizing—
Hopefully he'll attack specific trans teenagers instead, you know what I mean? Like, what's a trans teenager that you could attack? Give me a name. Like, Jojo Siwa? Who the fuck is trans anymore? I don't even know. I don't know.
Fat people, and stop trying to piss off feminists for views. But I'm sure he'll keep milking this content as long as it's profitable. Well, I guess all I can say, as your residential woke American soy boy, is Isaac, fuck you to the moon.
Hey.
Thanks for sticking around till the end of the—
Your residential mug-blooded American.
the video. If you're looking for some more content shitting on old Isaac, my friend Noah Sampson actually just posted a video about how Isaac attacks people for promoting body positivity. I'll link that down below.
Now I think I see why you get the Vosh hungry. I think Noah made like a shitty video about Vosh. It was dog shit, and then he got fucking nay-nayed over it.
I've finally settled in here in Australia. I'm getting back into the swing of things, and there'll be more content coming your way soon. I'll see you then.
Cool. Very cool beans. All right, not a bad video. Very pogger, very pooger. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.